This is MIL-SPEC Monkey, and we are here with
Persistent Systems. So, thanks for having me. We're over here at SHOT 24 this year. It's Friday, we're wrapping it up. But I just want to give you a quick rundown of who we are, what we do, and how we're doing it over here. So, like I said, company's Persistent Systems. You might have heard it referenced to as like Wave Relay or the MPU5, which is the radio. So I'm going to clear some things up for you, tell you what we do. So if you come over here, we'll kind of get started. So what we do is we're a mobile ad hoc networking company to start. We're a tactical networking company. So kind of our problem statement, what we want to solve is being able to network the internet battlefield of things. So what that means is any sensor, any platform, any payload, what we want to do is bring that onto the common network because we're a mobile ad hoc networking company. So we're setting up a scalable, self-healing, self-forming network with large throughput in order to be able to support a lot of these sensors and different things that we're bringing onto it. I'll talk about the MPU5 itself and what we've got here. So, like I said, it's the MPU5. It's kind of the brains of the operation. This is our main dismounted form factor, similar in size to like a 148 or something that you've used previously. What it's connected to is our dual push-to-talk. So our dual push-to-talk here is a dual-channel PTT system. We got talk group A, talk group B, with 16 different talk groups on that. So what that does is it gives me 16 different, essentially, nets that I can turn to, key up on simultaneously with A and B. So I took that up to a stereo headset like this high threat one, and now I'm able to hear simultaneously in 2 ears. I'm able to key up simultaneously, talk to my command cell, my fire cell, so on and so forth at the same time. So the days of having to carry a whole lot of radios are starting to thin, we'll say. And lastly, we've got our rugged display controller right here. I'm wearing the same thing right here. What our rugged display controller is, it's our end user device. So what we did was we actually took the Android operating system that's operating on the MPU5 and we created a screen for it essentially so that now we can view different APKs and things that we load for different platforms on the network, and we have that at our fingertips. We added that to a joystick ABXY screen, so now we're able to do a lot of weapons controls, sensor controls, ISR platform controls, and then your everyday like ATAC and things like that for PLI, for COT traffic, just situational awareness overall. So this is what it looks like not on a kit, and then I have it hooked up to my Spiritus kit here. Like I said, I've got my RDC, push-to-talk, my headset, MPU5 on my back, and I'm good to go. So what we're doing here at SHOT is we have this different gambit of stations set up essentially where we want to take users through almost like an immersive experience. We didn't want to set up a station where you talk at every station but you don't actually get to touch it, feel it, see what it does. So that's kind of what we're setting up here. So we have all these different stations I kind of want to walk you through. I'll bring you over here to the far left, we'll wrap around, and then we'll take it through it all. So just follow me and we'll get going. So what we've got here is actually some of the kits and from some of the partners that we've worked with in the past. Some of these names might be familiar. So you got your Wolf 40, Forward Actual, Travis Haley, some of the SEAL Team guys, and Post Malone. So these are guys that have, whether they ran our kit, in training, operational environments, on set, on a show, or they just thought it was a cool kit and they wanted to get it. So they actually sent us our kit for us to display here. So it's cool to pay homage to some of these guys that are big in the community and support us. So you can kind of see the different way they rig their kits, where they have what, and how they are using it. But the overall common theme is that they're using essentially what I have here is my RDC, push-to-talk MPU5, and a headset. So, like I said, this is the gateway into the network. The idea is to be faster, it's to be lighter, but still have all that capability on the network. So as we're taking all these different sensors, bringing them onto the network, I still want to be able to control that. I still want to be able to use that shared resource. On the far left, we've kind of got a group over there. What we have is an Onyx remote sentry. I'm not sure if you can catch that from here. So essentially what we did here was we took that Onyx remote sentry. We actually hooked it up to an MPU5. Like I said, made it a shared resource on the network. So now in your favorite cop tool ATAC, you're actually able to control that through a plugin. So I'm actually able to manipulate using the RDC, and you can actually see the weapon system moving as I'm touching the screen and orienting it. So pretty powerful thing. Still, follows that common theme of taking any platform, making it a shared resource on the network and being able to control it with the equipment that I have without actually having to, carry something specific for that device. We're calling like our mobile command cell. So what we did was we have a few different, FMV cameras or PTZ cameras hooked up around the booth. So what we're able to do is actually pull all those feeds in real time, pair that with WinTAC hooked up to an MPU5, and now we have our mobile command cell where we're pulling all those videos. It's no different than what I have at my fingertips here with my RDC. So as I take my RDC and I flip it down, I can actually view this in our video kiosk. I can actually manipulate those cameras. I can actually move around, slew that PTZ camera in order to maintain that operational site picture that I want. So the days of like arguing back and forth with your ISR platform, can you look here, can you look there? I'm actually able to take control of that, move it around as needed. So it is a powerful tool when it's done right. So what you can see here is I actually am scrolling through on my RDZ, and I'm actually able to pull that footage as it's happening. So we've got our Mohawk cam up on the mannequin, and I'm able to see that in real time. So I'm not any way connected to that camera or that MPU, or to that camera other than the MPU5 that's connected to it. So just putting into perspective what we've been talking about, taking any platform, being able to put it on the network and encode video straight off the MPU5, distribute that across the network. All right, so the last thing I wanted to cover here was radio over IP. So what radio over IP is our ability to take radio systems and bring them onto the network, again, as a shared asset. So what you're seeing here is a standalone Motorola radio. This could be your XTSs, your APXs, and so on and so forth. And what we're able to do is actually tie it into an MPU5 so that now we're able to bridge those two networks. So as I communicate my standalone MPU5, radio check 1, 2, 3, it's actually coming out of this standalone Motorola radio. And that's all happening over radio over IP. So I'll bring you right here and kind of show you what that looks like. So all we have here is an MPU5 hooked up to a Motorola radio. It's one cable, hooks up to our ROI port, and now that ROI port enables that Motorola radio in order to be, like I said, a shared asset on the radio. So that now as I turn to that talk group that's tied to that ROIP net, I'm actually keying up that Motorola net. So same thing with your Harris radios. I can take my 117s, 152s, 148s, and Talus. I'm able to actually ROIP those nets so that now as I'm keying up those nets, it's coming out of that side and vice versa. So you can think of all the applications with interoperability, being able to scale to large users that don't have MPU5s or don't have Motorola radios, so on and so forth, and kind of bridge that gap. So it's a super powerful tool, especially when you're talking working with coalition forces or even working with law enforcement, where a lot of guys have Motorola radios. Now you're showing up with your MPU5 and you're able to interconnect, interoperate. So that's Roy. Thank you for letting me cover that. So over here what we have is pixels on target. We have their optic, their Voodoo thermal optic. What we were able to do, put that on the front end of this sniper optic, and now we have a long gun doing RNS or something similar hooked up to an MPU5. And if you look at this TV up here, now you're seeing that in real time. You're seeing that footage come in, that full motion video essentially, so that you can actually action that, so you don't have to go back and forth taking pictures, trying to send data back to your TOC, your ROC. You're actually able to take this stream in real time and distribute it to your COC or your command cell that you're trying to communicate to. So still following that common theme, all I'm using is an MPU5, my push to talk, my RDC, and I'm still able to accomplish all this. And then finally, the icing on the cake that I want to lead you to is our Spot robot over here. So in partnership with Boston Dynamics, we were able to take this Spot robot and grab an MPU5, use it as the radio payload on it. So if you look in the rear, you'll see those 3 antennas on the back of it. But essentially what we're able to do now is we're able to take the software that controls Spot robot, put it on our RDC as an APK, and now you're able to control Spot in real time. So I'm going to move over to the code now where you can see that. So you see standing, walking, you're using joysticks in order to actually manipulate Spot. And as you're doing that, you're seeing that in real time. We're also seeing it on the video screen over there. So we're tying it all together and being able to do it, just utilizing this peer-to-peer ad hoc network that we set up. So put in perspective the power of all the things we covered. We have a remote sentry, we have a few different cameras, we have a few robots, all on the network. We're able to control them, we're able to hand off to each other and do all these things without actually carrying a single particular device in order to do that. So that's Persistent Systems, that's what we do. We want to take any platform, any sensor, any payload, put it on one common network, have a MPU5 pushing 100 megabits per second across that network, so now any data you need to get across is secure, it's scalable, and it's the best thing you can do. Thank you.
Well, thanks again for taking the time to show us.
Yeah, thank you.
If you like this video and want to support us, check out the MIL-SPEC Monkey Store. Although known for morale patches, we also specialize in a good selection of DIY hardware and tactical accessories.